I think we're live. Are we live? Here we are. Let's see. Let me enlarge this here so we can watch and respond and talk to people. But it looks like we are live. There we go. Let's see. Here we go. Nisha's here. We're connected. Lori. I think Lori has been like one of the first 2-3 people in every live from the very beginning. Lori, we love you. Thank you. It's so good to have you with us. And Michelle, Michelle and Lori, the duo up in Michigan. Hello.
Hi, Jennifer.
Oh my gosh. Let's see, Raquel. Hello, Raquel. Nice to see you here. Holly, nice to see you. Sharon. Joanne, David, Kathy, Flynn, hi. Who else have we got? Tons of people. They're all starting to sync up. And we'll get lots of posts on the side. I know people are always saying, well, where is it? Is the live here? So you just have to hit refresh, and we popped up right at 1 o'clock Utah time, just like we said we would.
Yeah.
But it looks like we've got a few people watching. More people tend to come in. Therese, hello, Therese from Delaware. How are you? Welcome from Canada. What else? We've got Cherie Leon. Hello, Cherie. Wow, what a good group. We love this.
We're so excited to be with you guys. It's spring, not quite spring here in Utah yet. We got a dusting of snow this morning, so we're still a little chilly here, but we are so excited for spring and summer to be around the corner.
Yeah, Jody just said, I wish you guys would go live on YouTube the same time. It would be amazing. We're going to look into that, Jody, for sure, because we get lots of people that aren't on Facebook for different reasons, and so we'll see what we can do. So maybe we do like a simulcast brought to you live in all the different platforms. That would be tons of fun. So we hear that idea, and we're looking into it for sure. Hello, Nancy, Teresa. Let's see, it has been, you were saying it's springtime. We actually had like short sleeve shirts on because we're like, today's finally going to be a warm day. Then the clouds came over. It's raining. It snowed again last night here in Utah. It's crazy. Everybody's preparing for, like, we've had flooding in the state now, so there's sandbag patrols going around neighborhood. It's been one of those years. We miss sunshine. We need like bright, like bean belt temperatures.
Or bright and sunny fruit, right? That's what we're doing today. We're bringing some bright colors into our life right now.
Yeah. Jody responded to YouTube. She said, I'm just selfish and want to see you full screen on my TV.
Oh,
no. You don't want to see us full screen. We're not much to look at, Jody, but we're glad. You're super sweet to say that. But it's so glad. We're glad to have everyone here. So we're going to have a fun day today. Okay? Since it's kind of springtime everywhere else except for Utah, we wanted to get into summertime extract making. And so summertime extract making, those are the extracts you make with fruits, nuts, spices, things like that.
Vanilla.
And
vanilla.
Always vanilla. Always vanilla.
But, we're looking at things that can be ready to use quicker than our normal vanilla extracts that take typically a year. Yeah,
so that's always the question. We're seeing a lot of it right now. There's a lot of people that want to make extracts, but they see that it takes up to a year and sometimes longer. So they're like, is there anything that I can make now that would be ready sooner? And so we say, yes, there is. You can make your cinnamon extracts, you can make your fruit extracts, you can make your mint extracts, you can make nut and cacao and all these other things. So there's a whole array of things that you make over the summer months while you can't maybe have your vanilla extract ready for Christmas time and holiday baking, which everyone hopes for. The other thing, though, that you need to remember is now is the time to start making your bourbon extracts for holiday season 2024, because they take about 18 months to really mature. Some people say, depending on the bourbon or the whiskey, up to 2 years.
Those are my favorites.
Yep. Yeah. So now is a great time to start making your bourbon and your whiskey and your dark rum, black rum. It's a good time to start making those extracts because they take about a year and a half to be ready. So the point is, there's tons of things to be doing over the summer, right?
Hi, Jeanette.
Jeanette,
we're staying warm.
Hello, Jeanette from up north. So we're going to talk about summertime extracts. We're going to make a couple with the freeze-dried fruits that we're really excited about. We're going to show you a trick or two that we've learned. 10 people are going to be getting free vanilla beans because that's just
what we do.
It's like tradition. So we've got our top 10 contributors that will be getting free vanilla beans during our live today. And then we're going to conclude by making a kind of a specialty dried fruit extract that we're really excited about. Like, it's a fun one that is ready really quickly and has a little bit of like holiday spice to it.
Yeah,
right?
it'll get you into the fall, so you're going to be all ready to start the late summer, early fall with this one.
Yep. So we're really excited about that. So first, we want to just thank everyone for being here. We want to do a shout out to all of our group experts who are just crazy awesome. You know who you are. We love you. We always want to call them out. Our group experts, so the new people that are here now, all of our group experts have to be in our group for a year. They have to have been nominated for Free Beans for Kind Words once. They have to be recognized by the administrators as a top contributor. So to be a group expert in our group, when they have that little signal or that sign or that title by their name, you know that you're hearing from someone who knows their stuff. These are great extract makers. So a big thank you to Laura Octon over in Great Britain, Mary Elizabeth Turberg, our fruit, well, in fact, her feedback is she knows citrus extract and fruit extracts better than anyone. So Mary, we're glad to have you. Debbie Foreman, John Meyer. John is our vanilla pod growing expert. He grows them in Florida, knows a lot there. We're glad to have him as an expert. Diane Olt, BJ Shaw, Colleen Bollock, and Lori Bichelle. We are so grateful for all of you. Thank you for all the work that you do and for being willing and able to have that title by your name and to answer the questions. Experts in our group get $150 in gift cards over the course of the 6 months that they serve as experts. So their term started just a month or two ago. It'll finish in August, and we'll have new experts called, and we will be very excited for that. But thank you, experts. And then, of course, a big shout out to Starlet.
Starlet, our star.
Starlet, our forever expert, the very first expert that we had, still an expert today, one of our moderators. Starlet, we wouldn't be us without you. So thank you, Starlet, for being such a great expert all these years. And that's it. I mean, we're growing, and we're so glad to have everyone with us that's watching right now. Our group has almost 93,000 members, which is crazy. We'll hit over 100,000 members before we hit our 3-year mark. We have over 185,000 followers on our Facebook page, over 3,000 subscribers now on our YouTube channel. So we just keep growing and growing and growing, people that are interested in extract making, and so it's just more and more friends that we're all making and that, you know, we all get to meet every week in our group. So we're just so grateful to all of you for being here and helping others make vanilla extract.
Well, and I think you also forgot one of the most important things about our experts is they are the kindest of kind.
Absolutely.
Like, they really, you know, no question is ever insignificant or stupid. You can ask any question you want on this website or on our blog, and you will get a respectful, kind answer. These ladies and gentlemen are the kindest individuals, and they will always be there to help you. Not only just our experts, but I think our entire group, for the most part, it's a kind place to be, and that's what we strive for.
That's it, as you all know, and it just kind of evolved into that because of the people that showed up. They're just nice. So you can ask a question 24/7, literally 24/7, 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'll wake up, you know, in the morning, and someone posted at like 2 a.m. and there's already like 12 answers. So there is always someone somewhere around the world who is up and ready and willing to answer any of your extract making questions quickly, easily. I mean, it's easier than like the Butterball turkey line on Thanksgiving Day, right? Like, you just post the question and you get the answer just like that. So thanks to all of you.
You have a little insomnia, well, so do other people.
Yeah, exactly. Someone else has insomnia that night too. Well, should we dive in?
Yes,
We're all here to make some extracts, so let's make some extracts. So over the last week, we've been, we're really excited about freeze-dried fruit and the addition of those products to help you make extracts. So we've been excited about, you know, making more and more fruit extracts. The last live that we had, as you'll recall, we talked about making fresh fruit extracts. And we talked about all the pros and why fresh fruit is helpful, it's available, it's less expensive.
When in season.
Exactly, you can still make it quickly. So refer to our last live for tips and tricks about using fresh fruit. If you want to delve into dry fruit, it's a little more expensive than fresh fruit. But the extracts that come from a dry fruit extract are really concentrated, really rich, and really, really fun to use.
Well, and you also have a freedom to choose what alcohol you want. You can use the bourbon, the vodka,
Yes.
the rum, whatever it is you want to try, and you can put whatever fruit you want in it. And since there isn't the added water from fresh fruit, you have, your choices are limitless.
Yes,
right?
you're not stuck with Everclear.
It's kind of nice. If you're doing fresh fruit, then you're stuck with an Everclear or high-proof rum.
Yep, and so that's exactly what we want to talk about, is by going to dry, it opens up now this whole other world of different alcohol blends. We've got a couple that we're going to jump into here, and so we'll talk about all that. But before we even jump into that, it is tradition now, and we start every single live with the same thing. For the new people that are watching the video, either now or they watch it on YouTube later, is we make a very quick, simple vanilla extract just to show you how simple it is.
Yeah, if you're new, you're going to see how easy this is, and you're not going to be able to help yourself but want to try it immediately.
There you go. So we're going to go really fast, and it's like our first one we did it in like 10 minutes, and then our second one in 7 minutes, and then our next one in like 3, because we're getting better and better. We're going to make this one in like 2.5, 3 minutes. We're
Okay,
gonna fly.
we are going to fly. So I thought 1 ounce of Indonesian Indonesian beans, and they're just a nice fruity base. It's a nice place to start. They're pretty
It's kind
big.
of classic Indonesian,
Uh-huh.
a little bit of earthiness, but they're the planifolia beans, so they're creamy, a little more traditional like Madagascar, but they have that Indonesian smoky, a little bit of spice, earthy undertone.
So I've got 1 ounce of beans, and I'm going to put 8 ounces, and I'm going to do my spice drum simply because I got a lot of it. Look in your cupboards, gals and guys. What do you have already? It's so expensive right now. Spirits can be expensive. Beans can be expensive. So what do you already have? And you can make something. If you've got some kind of spirit in your house, figure out how to make that with what you have.
And plus, spiced rum extract is just one of our favorites around the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
We
All
love
through the fall and the winter, it's
it.
lovely. So I'm going to show you the 3 ways that we do this. We can tie in a knot if you want to preserve the caviar and the seeds that are inside. I just tie it in a knot, right? And then I can just put that down into my bottle. Or I can slice it in half. And then you can also slice it down the middle to try and get all that caviar out, which is actually my favorite because I love all the caviar coming out into whatever I'm baking. Or, if you want, you can always just bend them, right?
There was a conversation, sorry to interrupt, there was a conversation in our group the other day about straining, and someone said, do you always strain your vanilla extract? Some people like to because they want it to be like clear, but as you mentioned the caviar, we typically, with just vanilla extract, we don't.
I love seeing the caviar.
We like speckles.
Yeah.
We like the speckles. We think they're fun. But when you're using other extracts that are more complicated, lots of different components,
And you don't want to see that.
then we do filter and we do strain, like big clumps of used strawberries or
There's
things
a ton
like
of
that.
caviar in there too. If you're cutting them open, you're going to see a ton of speckles. And then my favorite way sometimes is just to cut them in smaller pieces because they're just easier. So not only do I get the caviar out of there, but it just makes it really easy for me to just throw them in the bottle.
So Nicole just commented and said, you can make vanilla extract with spiced rum or bourbon. I thought it was only vodka. Perfect example. This is why we do what we're doing here, right? Like we have new members of our group. Yes, buckle up, Nicole, because you are about ready to fall down the rabbit hole. You thought it was just like a couple of different beans and things. Now when you start looking at all the different spirits you can use, here you go. So welcome to the rabbit hole, Nicole. You're going to have lots of good friends around you as you wander around inside there.
But it's important to remember that you have to have a certain amount of alcohol. You can't just pick any alcohol out there. You can't have liqueurs that are, lower in alcohol content. You have to stick within that range, that's going to... Oops,
So
sorry.
Kelly, while you're pouring that, you're using the vodka.
Oh, shoot.
Well, there we go. It's okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and finish it with vodka.
Okay.
Sorry, I was
you
looking
put
away.
that by me.
It's totally my fault. 100%.
Okay,
I was looking the other way.
I'm gonna have to, after this is over, put spice rum in this. But we're gonna fill it.
Well, you know what we can do?
And I'm gonna fill it to the top because I know this is an 8-ounce jar. So it's 1 ounce of beans to 8 ounces of spirit. This is an 8 ounce. It's a little bit, it's 8.5 ounce. So I've got a little bit more. But I know I don't have to measure it, which, you know, when I'm doing a lot of these for like gifts, I love that I can just pour it, not have to worry about measuring it. And then I'm done. I put it in a cool, dry place, dark, in a cupboard somewhere, and I forget about it for about 9 months to a year.
For about 9 months to a year. And we have a lot of discussions about, does it take a year to make extract? Look on our site, you'll see, if you go to the extract making section, there's a question that says, does it really take a year to make vanilla extract? You can read the pros and cons of not waiting that long, waiting that long. It's ready when you think it tastes great. Most people will tell you it's about a year.
We usually wait to a year, but we've kind of backed off on that and kind of let you decide. Start trying it in about 9 months. Do you like it? Then use it. If you don't, then wait a little bit longer. But as we've learned with all of these extracts, it's all subjective. What you like isn't necessarily what someone else likes. They might want a stronger flavor, and you're perfectly fine with the way it is. So this is an art, and you're going to create your own art.
There you go. Now, Kelly Kantz asked a question, and it looks like it's in a couple places. Kelly, I'm not quite sure because it's in 2 different places. I think you're referring to what does the V stand for in like V planifolia. I'm going to assume that's your question, but why don't maybe you rewrite the question just to make sure I address it. So when you see the V period and then the space and then the word, you know, there's over 100 different types of vanilla bean orchids. There's only a handful that produce fruit. So V is the distinction of the vanilla category. So it stands for vanilla. There's a scientific name for it. I can't recall what it is, but it's V stands for essentially vanilla. So it's a vanilla dot and then the species. So it's a V dot planifolia, a V dot tahitensis, a V dot pompona, a V dot bahiana.
This is vanilla.
That's just, so it's all different kinds of vanilla. So when you see the V, that's what it means. The 2 most popular are planifolia, which is sort of the traditional, the creamier, the butterier, the earthy. And then the tahitensis is the 2nd most popular. Very durable. It's a little lighter, fruitier, crispier. But both of them are super vanilla-y. They're all vanilla before they're anything else. So all these other tastes we're talking about are sort of undertones and accents to that vanilla base that you got. So hopefully, Kelly, I answered your question there. So
let's go back to the percentage of alcohol. I want to make sure that they understand that you can't just use like a liqueur or anything out there. You need a certain percentage of alcohol to make sure that things don't mold and, you know, like to actually extract the oils from the vanilla.
Absolutely. So you got to be 35%, 50% alcohol, which is 70 to 100 proof. The number of proof is just double the amount of alcohol. Mm-hmm. So 35% alcohol, 70 proof. 50% alcohol, 100 proof. Sweet spot for us, for all of our vanilla extracts, is somewhere between 35 and 50%.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say when you get into like cinnamon and other extracts, you can go even higher alcohol content. We're going to call that like master's class. We're not there yet, but you can do a higher alcohol content. It just gets confusing. So the sweet spot for us, 35 to 1 or 35% to 50% alcohol. Right? Cool. There we go. How long was that?
Okay, not too bad. Also, I want to also mention that for us, the only flavored alcohol that we really love is the spiced rum. We have tried flavored vodka, like you can get vanilla vodka, or you can get all kinds of flavored vodka, different kinds of spirits that are artificially flavored. We've tried that. We don't love it. It kind of has a medicinal, like artificial taste to it.
Yes.
Right?
So everyone's like,
it misses something.
Yeah, they're like, if I get a vanilla vodka, like a vanilla Smirnoff, and I put in vanilla beans, isn't that like double fold vanilla extract? It's not, because you're combining natural and artificial.
Yeah.
And it's not, it just doesn't work. This has been the exception.
But at the same time, if you want to try it out, you will like it.
Give it a shot. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Every vanilla extract is a beautiful vanilla extract.
So how easy was that?
Super easy.
Just like that.
So spiced rum, in this case we use vodka instead, but we definitely love and recommend the spiced rum. And this isn't super expensive, it's just the Captain Morgan brand. The Kraken is a popular one in our group. That's a good one as well, but we've got all the alcohols listed on our Spirit brand review on our website so you can see which ones we like, which ones we recommend, and why. Mm-hmm. How about that? Simple, basic vanilla extract, and it's like every time we do it, we get a new question and something comes up, which is why we always go back to our roots. The first thing we do in every one of these videos, simple vanilla extract making. It's simple to us because we've made so many of them over time, But as you all see, there's so many different variables, and there's always new people with questions. So thank you. Thanks for asking questions. Thank you for making another beautiful extract. What number is that in our house?
I stopped counting years ago.
Oh my gosh. We did.
We have a problem.
We have a problem. In fact, we were, just before the live, we were like smelling all these. Like,
oh, I know. This one right here, this is our orange cacao vanilla. Oh my goodness. Like when you open this up,
it's incredible.
I
And
wanna
there's a
make
recipe on our
candies.
website.
I can't wait to make candies out of this. Like chocolate, little orange. Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's the orange cacao vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely amazing. And then the cherry chocolate.
Cherry chocolate, add this to your black forest or even some yummy ice cream this
Oh
summer.
my gosh. This one is absolutely incredible.
Wow.
So sometimes
the options are limitless.
They are. Sometimes it's just like if you're having one of those days and you need to just smile, we go up to our vanilla closet.
We just start smelling
And we
things.
just, you smell vanilla. And we were going through it before the show today. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to use these because they're all beautiful.
Well, I have one that I use every morning in my coffee. I have a little, it's the cocoa coffee vanilla, and I just put a tiny little bit in, and it's almost like a little smile to start every day. So very nice.
There you go. Jeanette did a mint chocolate. Oh my gosh, Jeanette, that sounds amazing. Jody,
Brownies.
it's simple, but it's also really nice to know what's in your products when you make it yourself. Amen, Jody.
Yes.
Like, it's all about ingredient transparency. And it's no longer, farm to table is very important to us, to lots of people. But now, we don't overlook the ingredients that we're putting in these things that, we grew on the farm, or that, we wanted them to be whole and natural. And then all of a sudden you go up and you grab all these like ingredients that are out of your cabinet that maybe are artificial. So now we're even one level beyond farm to table. We're like, let's look at the things we're adding to cook our cakes and our pastries and our soups and our meats and everything else, and make sure we know what those ingredients are. So you're 100% right, Jody. Like, it's all about ingredient transparency, not just for the big items, but for everything that you mix in that pot when you're cooking something.
Yeah,
right?
and you oftentimes you already have all these things in your home, so it's economical. Like, hey, I have a little vodka, I've got some beans. Hey, I've got a little bit of coffee. Throw it all in there and see what you come up with. Like sometimes it's just being creative and coming up with whatever you got in your kitchen.
There are so many people saying they throw it in their coffee too.
Yeah.
That's like the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, this isn't alcohol, it's vanilla extract. That's
It's just
totally
a tip.
I love it. That's fun, and it is yummy.
It is a
Come on.
great way to come on. Start your day with something
It
yummy.
is so yummy. I love it. Okay, here we go. So let's jump into our very first fruit extract, dried fruit extract.
Okay.
So here we're gonna go, jumping right ahead.
Yeah.
She's like, I got it. Okay, so what is the first fruit extract we're gonna make?
Just blueberry vanilla.
A blueberry vanilla extract. And what vanilla beans are we gonna use?
Okay, these are some of my favorite beans. This is our Rioja Pompona. It comes from Peru. And these are very, very large.
Look at the size of these things. I mean, is that? Let me do a close up here.
The
just
reason
so you can
I
see.
like to use these beans, the flavor for one is wow.
It's amazing. Look at the size.
And I am not really extracting all of the oils out of here because I'm not waiting 12 months. I'm using this more of an enhancer to my blueberry extract. So instead of just going straight blueberry, I would add vodka and just the blueberries, which you can do if that's what you're looking for. But when I add this Rioja bean in here and I cut it open, I get all that caviar out, and in that time I get to extract some of the oils out of the skins. It makes so much of a difference.
Right.
It enhances it. It just adds that vanilla wonderfulness to it.
So what vanilla extract does in all of our desserts and pastries, and the reason that it has become a thing is it accentuates the different ingredients that are already there. Particularly, it takes away any of the sharpness from eggs. It helps bring out sweetness even in flour and accentuate the sweetness of the sugars that are going in. So vanilla as sort of a binder of ingredients or an enhancer of ingredients, that's what it's been used for years and years, hundreds of years, right? But what we have found is that a vanilla bean inside the extract, when you have like a fruit that is soft and sweet, maybe tart, and then you have like an alcohol that kind of can burn, especially the higher alcohol content ones, the two, when you throw in a vanilla between them, it does exactly what vanilla extract's been doing for hundreds of years in our cooking. It just softens them. It sweetens them. It just accentuates. It's like the blueberry is more blueberry, and the strawberry is more strawberry, and the raspberry is more raspberry.
And there's a hint of vanilla.
And then there's the subtle hint of vanilla.
And then if, with all of those yummy little caviar seeds, you see it.
Yes. So we love using vanilla beans, at least one vanilla bean, 2 vanilla beans in all of our fruit extracts. We think it makes a big difference.
Just as a binder or an enhancer. Another thing I love using this, and maybe we'll do a live later on it, is I have made a strawberry liqueur out of just strawberries and liqueur, and I've tried that. And then I added this Pompona bean to it. Hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like, that changed everything. It added so much butteriness and softness that it was missing with just the strawberries, and it was delightful for summer. So there's so many things that you can add these little things to. It's awesome.
And not all pomponas are the same. This is the Peruvian pompona. If you got like the Mexican pompona, they're like half the size. They're big and round, but they're shorter. And so it's like depending on the region where they're grown, the species doesn't necessarily mean they all taste the same. Because a planifolia in Indonesia versus a planifolia in Mexico, both planifolias, they taste totally different.
Yeah.
Same thing with pomponas. A pompona from Peru versus a pompona from Mexico, they'll taste different.
Just because of the soil.
Just because of the soils.
Different.
Yeah. So let's jump in. I think we've given the background on why.
Okay, so this is important when you're doing freeze-dried fruit. As it is with vanilla, you need to weigh the fruit because I wanted to show you that this right here is 1 ounce of blueberries and it's about 3/4 of a cup. This right here is also 1 ounce of peaches, but it's, as you can see, a little bit more than 1 cup. So if you're measuring it in cups and volume, you're going to miss out. It's not going to be the same amount. So you need to always weigh your fruit just as you weigh your vanilla beans, okay? That part is really important.
Someone's asking the question, are these dehydrated or freeze-dried? We use freeze-dried. We like freeze-dried for a couple of reasons. 1, more moisture is removed in the process. 2, and most importantly, there's not heat that is used in the process of freeze-drying. Everything is frozen solid, so it preserves all the nutrients, flavor compounds, taste. And then the water is removed through a vacuum process, so it keeps sort of the shape and everything intact. A lot of times with dehydrated, they've been superheated, which will change them a little bit. Not all the moisture is removed, so it might be bendy or flexible, which means you're going to be adding. Now, let me even say, you can use dehydrated for sure.
And I have, and it turns out great.
We have, and it turns out great. So I'm not saying don't use dehydrated. You can absolutely use dehydrated, but there is more moisture in them. They're going to weigh a little bit more, and so with the freeze-dry, we just see that they're a little lighter, more concentration, and the taste to us typically is our favorite. So hopefully that's helpful. You can use both, but freeze-dried just seems to be the most consistent.
Yes.
So we're putting in the recipe for fruit is dried fruit is just what you said. It's exactly like our vanilla extract recipes. It's 1 ounce by weight of dried fruit to 8 ounces by volume of spirit. 35% to 50% alcohol. It's the exact same thing. Super easy to do.
Now, oftentimes when you get dehydrated fruit, there'll be a lot of crumbs at the bottom. Use those, measure those, weigh those, because that's just your blueberries being crushed down a little bit. Sometimes, because of the volume, I have to actually crush them down to get them to fit into, whatever jar I'm using. But it's still the same amount of blueberries, it's just in a smaller space. So when you see all those crumbs at the bottom, weigh them and put that in there, because that's just as important as the ones that haven't been crushed.
Some people will ask the question, can you do like a double fold of blueberry or others? So you're going to have a volume issue. So as it relates to crushing, you just have to smash them all down and make sure that they're submerged in the alcohol. Because if you don't, you're not going to have, the alcohol's not going to cover them all.
Sometimes I smash them down when I'm putting them in, or sometimes I let them kind of absorb the alcohol and then I'll muddle down and then push down. Either way is going to be just fine.
Either way works just fine.
Yeah.
So use the crumbs is the point. Every little piece of that fruit, use them. When they're dry, they're brittle. When they're brittle, they break. When they break, they crumble.
Yeah.
It's still a blueberry. Use it. It's still a strawberry.
Yes.
Use it. Don't throw anything away.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so what I do with this huge Pompona bean is I usually just cut it right down the middle,
I mean, it's almost hard to cut because there's like the
It's
caviar
not.
is like the caviar is actually falling out as we're cutting this. There's so much inside of these.
And then I just cut it into pieces to make it easy to kind of fit lower into the jar.
And
And
we just
I don't
wanted
get
one-
the caviar out. I leave it in there because over time it comes out on its own.
And we're not weighing the bean here. We're not adding 1 ounce of beans. You can put in 1 vanilla bean. We always recommend like 2 like normal size
1 to
vanilla
2.
beans. But when you're using like a Pompona, you really only need 1.
Yeah.
I mean, in some cases, these Pomponas.
Or half.
Yeah,
I mean,
one bean
that
is a full ounce.
So big.
Right.
You could probably make maybe even 3 out of this one, right? Because there's so
Exactly.
much in it. You can go a lot longer with these beans.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got our 1 Pompona Rioja bean and 1 ounce of blueberries. And now we're just going to add some vodka.
We're going to add our 8 ounces of vodka.
Already measured it out here to 8 ounces.
It's so easy. And for
Yeah.
all of you creative people, you're thinking, well, can you add like a cinnamon stick to that, as
Nice.
Michelle does with her blueberry buckle, and it's amazing. Can you add like cloves to it? Can you add allspice to it? Yes, 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 yes.
I mean, already. I don't know if you see this. Maybe you could show them.
I'm gonna show them here.
So,
Look at how where they're dried and you add the alcohol.
it's the most beautiful,
Look at
like,
the color.
fuchsia color already.
It's already changing, so it's that quick.
You can wait up to a month and then add another 1 ounce of blueberries into it. Try it, see what you think. If you want a little bit more of a blueberry flavor, then add another ounce of blueberries for 1 additional month would be a total of 3 months.
Think of it just like vanilla beans. This is a single fold blueberry extract. You can do a double fold blueberry. You can do a triple fold blueberry extract.
Yeah.
So what we say is wait about a month. In fact, on some we waited 2, just because life got busy and we forgot to check. And they were great after 2.
I will admit, I made Michelle's blueberry level, right? I forgot about it for 4 months.
Yes.
I'm like, it was in the back of the cupboard, and I found it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is it ruined? Oh my goodness, ladies, it was delicious. I didn't take out the cinnamon. I left it in there for 4 months. Blueberry cinnamon vodka. It's delicious. It is so good on coffee cake. It's so good over a blueberry cobbler. It is the perfect thing to start out your fall mornings with something warm with your coffee. Michelle, you hit out of the park with that one.
Hit it out of the park. And so on these, we found it seems to us that after about a month, maybe 6 weeks, we don't necessarily notice that the final extract is becoming more blueberry. It's just time to change them out.
But it's not going to ruin anything.
But it's not going to ruin it. That's the point. So if you want to do a double fold or others, then you certainly can. And you can do it over and over and over again until you get like as rich of a blueberry as you want to get. The other thing is when you're straining these, when it's time to change them out and it's finished and you want to take out the old blueberries and put in new blueberries or just begin using it, this is one that we typically will strain because they'll clog like the spout. If you're putting them in a spout, it can be a little lumpy, harder to pour. So when you strain it, make sure you press out all the alcohol that's been absorbed in all the blueberries.
I don't like to put this in like a coffee filter or a very fine mesh because I still want to get some of my vanilla pod seeds through it. So I'll use like a thicker colander, and then I'll put the blueberries and the vanilla and everything in there, and then I'll press it down so I can get all of the liquid out of the blueberries, and then I'll bring out the vanilla beans, and I'll put the vanilla beans back in it. And then I'll put the fresh blueberries back in. But I don't like to use a super fine. If you like your pods in your extract, then don't use a super fine strainer. But if you want it very, very clear, then I would use either a coffee filter or a super fine strainer.
Yep. So there's a few questions that have been asked, and I want to make sure we try to answer them. Jody asked, can you please explain double and triple fold? Look on our website, Jody, under double fold and single fold vanilla extract. It'll explain it. Essentially, 1 ounce of beans to 8 ounces of alcohol is single fold. 2 ounces of beans to 8 ounces of alcohol, same amount of alcohol, double fold, and then you keep doing that. So it's the true numbers are a little less. We just kind of round up to 1 ounce and 2 ounce. So it's the same principle with the fruits. So you can get double the sweetness. And the idea is when you're cooking cake and it calls for a teaspoon of vanilla extract and you want maximum sweetness from your extract, you don't want to double the number of teaspoons because then you're doubling the amount of fluid that goes into your cake recipe, which could alter the way that your cake turns out.
Yeah.
So it's all about maximizing sweetness on top of that teaspoon.
Yeah.
And so a double or a triple or a quadruple fold or these crazy ones that people do, it's all about just maximizing that teaspoon with as much flavor as you possibly can through extraction.
Yeah.
But
when you do that, you've got to really get your fruit small. You've got to cut the vanilla in small pieces because you're putting so much more fruit and vanilla in it that it's not going to be covered by the alcohol. So you've got to make it as small as possible. You can see in this one that I have some vanilla sticking out, some blueberries. So I'll need to usually I'll let it absorb a little bit, and then I'll just take a knife and make sure I get all my vanilla underneath there, and it'll be just fine. But I usually let it just kind of absorb for a minute, and the vanillas will expand, and then I'll push down the vanilla. Now you'll see blueberries kind of hovering on the top. That's perfectly fine.
Yep. So Connie then says, so wait, you're not changing out the fruit, you're just adding more? No, we are changing out the fruit. If we do like a double full blueberry or strawberry, we take the old fruit out, strain it, push the alcohol out so we get as much of that back in as we can, and then we'll add fresh fruit. So we do change it out.
But we always put the vanilla back in. Take the old blueberries out, but put the vanilla back in with new blueberries.
There you go. Lori said, and this is great caution, Lori, and thank you. She said, be careful because freeze-dried really absorbs the alcohol. It does, and so it's like a sponge that you're putting in there, which is why straining it is so important. And I don't want to get too technical, but I think this point is really important, okay? When people say, top it off, it worries lots of people because they're like, well, wait, if I take out my fruits and my extract, my alcohol content has gone down, now you're telling me to top it off. If I top it off, doesn't that mess up my ingredients? Because now I'm going to have too much alcohol. Well, yes, technically it does, but here's the point. Single fold calls not for 1 ounce, it calls for 0.83 ounces. Again, like I said just previously, everyone in our world just rounds up to 1 ounce. So we've already rounded up almost 20% in terms of the amount of vanilla beans or fruit that you need. So when you're making cacao, when you're making fruits, when you're doing any of these, if you see the content after you strain it and pushed all the alcohol out, if you see that you've dropped by 10 or 20%, it's absolutely fine to top it off and just add a little bit more. What you've got is you've got less alcohol at a higher concentration of extract. So topping it off just to increase your alcohol level is okay. Many people say, I don't want to top it off, I just want it like as strong as I can get it. Well, then do that for sure. Like, no need to. But I think those are important points. So a strainer is important when you're draining your fruit. Push all the alcohol out that you can because it will absorb it. And it's okay to top it off a little bit because you're already using a little more than what needs to be used.
Well, and also know that if you're adding anything else to your extract, you're not going to yield exactly 8 ounces because the fruit and the vanilla beans are going to suck in some of that moisture. Even though you're squeezing it all at the end, you're still going to be short. And I've been short 1, sometimes with cacao, 2 ounces from what I started with. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I know that out of 8 ounces I start with, I might get 7 or 6.5. But I know that it's very strong and it's going to be great. Also, if you want to top it off, you can do that as well. It's up to you. This is, again, a craft. It's your art.
There you go. Like Mark says, that is when 0.83 applies. That is exactly it, because that's the real number. Like the actual recipe is not 1 ounce to 1 cup of spirits. It's 0.83 ounces. It's just been easier for everyone. The whole kind of extract making world just rounds up to 1 ounce, which for all these reasons, we think that's a safe practice. So you're always erring on the side of having a little too much versus not enough. So, Connie Robinson, I wonder if a French press coffee maker would work to strain out the fruit. That's interesting. It probably would, because you want to get as much of that juice out of those fruit pieces as you can.
Yeah, try it.
So maybe give that a try, Connie, and maybe that would be a post. We'd love to see that. Connie, by the way, thank you for so many amazing posts. Like, she's got lots of really good content lately. So we'd love to see that. Give it a shot. Let us know what you think.
Just real quick, of course you want to write what's in here and when you started and what your next instructions are, so you know when you go back to it, you know when and what and where you need to do it. I have come to the conclusion for me that masking tape works the best because it comes off and I can do my new instructions on and my new dates and just put them on. Whatever you guys use, you figure out what you like, but I love masking tape for all of those reasons, where you can just take it off and then put your new date on, and your original date I usually just put on the bottom. So organizing and making sure you know where this extract is really important.
Yes.
Sometimes I forget to write it down and I have no idea when I started it.
Little masking tape and a Sharpie. That's a job. Mark is like, I don't know if you're a chemist on the side, Mark, but Mark made a very good point, and it's worth talking about. He said the 0.83 only applies to grade B vanilla beans, and he's 100% correct. When you actually look at the FDA standard for single fold extract, it's referring to a drier grade B bean. So when we're using grade A beans, that's another reason to round up to 1 ounce, because there's added moisture content inside the grade A. So that's the other reason that we also round up, just to make sure that we always have enough, by erring on the side of having too many. What you see though is I've seen grade B beans that are almost 25% moisture content, and grade A beans that are just a little above 25% moisture content. So they kind of bump into each other right there. So erring on the side of 1 ounce, I think that's the reason that the industry has, the at-home industry has always just said round up to 1. It works for grade A and grade B. If it's grade B, you've probably got a few too many beans in there, but that's okay. And it's just too hard to remember 0.83 ounces. Right?
Unless you want to be exact, then you go for it.
But thanks for bringing that up, Mark.
Yeah.
That's a really good, like, we're into kind of the deep stuff now.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's a great point, and that is exactly correct, that it applies. So to round out that whole discussion, when we're talking about freeze-dried fruits, they're totally dry. And so the same logic then would apply to the dry fruit as would apply to the dry bean. So, great. Wow, these questions today. I feel like we have all of our PhD group members with us. This is
awesome.
Fantastic. We love it. Okay, so there's that. And then one other point that I think is important as it relates to the freeze-dried fruit as you get it and you unpack it. When you receive it in your home, don't open it until you're ready to use it, because it's very hygroscopic is what they call it. And what that means is it's a sponge. And so if you live in Florida or in places of really high humidity, the second you open that, it's going to start absorbing the humidity out of the air, and they're going to get real sticky.
They're going to be stuck in one big ball.
Yeah. Now, does that mean they're bad? No, not at all. You can still use them, and they're fine, but you're just going to start absorbing some of the moisture.
So it's hard to break apart, and it's hard to measure. If you got one big ball, then you have to start breaking that apart and then putting it on the scale. And so it's just nice to be able to know, okay, I've got this much fruit. I'm going to use it all right now, separate it into my extracts, and then be done.
Yes, that's exactly it. So just wait until it's time to make the extract before you open it. If they're a little sticky, you're totally fine. It just means you're going to have to break them up a little bit. But the likelihood of them being sticky is a lot less if you don't open them until they're actually ready to be poured in. Like, we just opened these peaches like right before we started the show, and they're going to flow very nicely. It'll be a lot easier to use than sticky ones.
Yeah, and also we have a few extra. I love snacking on them.
Oh, they are a great snack.
They are a wonderful snack. Sometimes I just put them in a little baggie and off I go to wherever I'm going. And
trail mixes.
Yeah.
Like summertime hikes, they're the best to like blend in just as a snack. Side note, yeah. Or, you know, when you're hiking, take a bottle of vodka with you and take some strawberries with you. You know, make some strawberry extract when you're up in the mountains, right? Because that's what you're going to do. There you go. Okay, while we're moving this out of the way and getting ready for our last extract, which we're really excited about, let's talk top 10 contributors. Facebook always ranks every month. They give us a list, and they're like, these are your top 10 contributors over the last 28 days. So we don't change the list at all. This is exactly as it is written and given to us. So here we go. Every person on this list is a top 10 contributor, and they are all going to get 1 ounce of free Madagascar beans. Shoot us an email at support@vanillapure.com. If your name's been read, we'll make sure we get those beans out to you. So we'll start from the bottom, work our way up. Our 10th biggest contributor in the last 28 days, Debbie Perry Thomas. Congrats, Debbie. Our 9th biggest contributor, Laura Ogden. Laura from Great Britain. Somehow she's up there. She's one of the people that will answer your question at like 4 in the morning, because that's like, afternoon in Great Britain. So
what surprises me when she's on, though.
Exactly. At number 8, we have Raquel Maria. We're so glad to see your name there. Number 7, Ann Bouchon.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ann. Number 6, Debbie Bennett. Thank you, Debbie. Number 5, Nancy Ripley Mill. Nancy keeps us all smiling, Nancy. Congratulations, Nancy, and thanks for always being here. Number 4, Holly Kaplan Timer.
Oh, welcome, Holly. Holly's new.
Yeah, I think she was here last time, but she's more and more involved. So, Holly, welcome to the group. Number 3, Connie Robinson Alexander. Connie, great to have you. She's going to let us know about the French press. Number 2,
Diane.
Every time we read your name, Teresa says, tell Diane hi. She loves you, Diane. So a big hi and a big hug from Teresa. And our number 1 top contributor this month is BJ Shaw. BJ, thanks for all you do. I don't know how many extracts BJ has made, but her advice and feedback is spectacular. And we're just so glad to have you and being one of our experts as well. So what a great group of people, all of them. So thank you for your contribution. Free beans on the way. Sound good?
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
It's like grand finale time. We only got like 14 minutes left, so we're going to have to crank here.
It doesn't take long.
It doesn't, I know, but we actually cut one out because we're like, it'll be shorter today. But here we are like going on an hour. It always takes an hour no matter what. Hey, what?
He likes to talk.
I don't know. So many good things to talk about.
It's okay. Someone needs to be the talker.
So, our last extract today is one that we're really excited about. 1, it's a fruit extract, which means it's going to be ready in just a couple of months. 2, this is sort of our first holiday extract of the year. We're making this to use this upcoming holiday season.
Well,
and it'll be ready
late
sooner.
Summer,
Yeah.
early fall. Should be ready by then.
It should be ready by then. And we haven't given it like a snazzy name yet, but we'll have to do that. We'll post the recipe here later today or tomorrow. But this last extract that we're going to do is a peach, vanilla, cinnamon, spiced rum extract, which we are so very excited. And again, this is like an 8-week extract. So we could even use this in like 4th of July ice creams maybe. Like it'll be ready that soon, but
8 to 12.
We're probably going to do a double fold on the peaches, and it'll probably be ready for us maybe Labor Day-ish, but right in time for the holidays. So we're really excited about this one. Should we dive in?
Yes.
Let's talk about peach, cinnamon, vanilla, spice extract.
Okay, so I like to use my mason jars when I'm using a bunch of fruit. It just is easy to get in here. So sometimes I'll break it up when I'm putting it in, just so it takes up less surface area. Or you can always just leave it whole and then let it absorb the fluid, and then muddle it down, and it'll be fine then too. So we're just gonna fill this. Now this is again 1 ounce of freeze-dried peaches, and it's a mounding size cup in volume. So remember, you want to weigh it to make sure you're getting the same amount each time, because if you're just going to put it in a cup, you're going to get a different measurement.
Yep. So one of the tricks is you can pour it all in, they're big clumps, and you can get a, a pestle, is that?
You can use a mortar and a pestle, or you can
smash
anything.
It down.
You know, in your cocktail mixers, they got a muddler, you can push that down.
Muddler.
Whatever
just something
you
to break
want.
it up.
Whatever you have, really. You put a spoon in there.
Sure, something to break it up. And this is the reason that when we're making extracts, we love using, like a French square bottle with a big open neck, or in this case, just a mason jar with a big open neck. When we gift the extract, like Christmas time, or Mother's Day, or
Mother's Day.
I know wedding showers that we've got, like over the summer, like they're great gifts. So when we gift them, we always pour them into like really cute jars and make them really nice and fun labels. But when we're making them, it's all about just function in a bigger jar.
I like to bring them for like little hostess gifts. If somebody has invited us over for dinner, I'll bring just a tiny little jar of an extract and have a cute label on it. Just a little thank you, you know, and if your friends know you well, they know that there's always a new extract on the horizon.
Yes, but they get used to that. And so then, before you know it, we can't go to any event where everyone's like, where's my extract?
Yeah, they're like, what did you bring me?
So once you start giving them out, you're going to be giving them out for the rest of your life, because we don't go anywhere now where people aren't like, where is my vanilla extract? What did you bring me this time?
That's right. So I'm just kind of crumbling them up just real quick here so they don't take up too much room. But once I add the spirits to it, I can always push them down.
Okay, so it's so interesting to see, because we've even broken these peaches apart, and this is this a 16-ounce mason jar, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a 16-ounce mason jar, and look at how full it is even when it's broken. I mean, it's almost all the way to the top because of the volume of the beans. Now we're adding a cinnamon stick.
I just broke this up into pieces. All this is going to be strained out in the end, so I'm just breaking this up into pieces, pushing it down.
And we're using Ceylon cinnamon, or Ceylon cinnamon, depending on how you pronounce it, in this particular one. So when you break the cinnamon, it releases all those flavor compounds and everything. And
my fingers right now smell, I just missed Christmas.
Yes. But you can use the cassia cinnamon. It's harder to break with your hands, a little more firm, but you can use the cassia as well for like extra spice. We like the Ceylon for just more of a subtle slice, but they're both great and they both have their purpose.
Now I'm only going to use half of this Pompona Rioja because it is a really, really, really big one. So I don't need any more than that. So I'm just cutting it down the middle, and then I'm just going to cut it into smaller pieces so it fits less surface area, so I can.
Roxanne asked how many sticks of cinnamon. We used just one in this one, so because the cinnamon's pretty strong. But when you do your first round of taste tests in 4 to 8 weeks, if you want more cinnamon, you go ahead and you add more cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one is usually enough.
Yeah, if you love cinnamon, you can add a little bit more, or you can add a new one on your second round. You know, you wait a month, you test it out. You can add another fresh cinnamon if you really, really like cinnamon.
Yep. So now we're using spiced rum for all the reasons that we mentioned before. So we're going to measure 8 fluid ounces here of spiced rum, just to give it that. And when we think spiced rum, many of you have seen everything that we've written about it, but this is like, it brings back memories of pumpkin spice and banana breads.
For the end of summer when things start to cool off.
Yes, Halloween cookies and things like that. That's when we start thinking of our spiced rum extracts and when we use them.
My mom used to make this when I was growing up, this peach spiced jam. It was more like a spread. And we lived on this stuff. Like, it is the most delicious peach cinnamon spiced jam. And she has no idea how she made it, what went in it. So none of us have replicated it. I've tried, but it just isn't the same. I wish she would have written it down, but it was one of those things where she's just like, throw it together and feed these kids. It was delicious. So that's what I think of when I'm making this. Is that yummy, yummy, yummy jam.
So again, this is a 16-ounce jar. We just put the 8 ounces of spiced rum, and it's almost filled to the top, right?
Yeah, and so, I mean, right now, I'm just going to push that down with my scissors and get the kind of the vanilla down there. It will absorb, but I'll just push it down. If you want to, you could use a quart-sized jar and then use, a weight to push down. You're welcome to do that. I have done both, and it's fine. I'll just, keep an eye on it, and I'll just keep pushing it down after a while. And then once it absorbs all of the liquid, then you push it down, and it stays.
But the peaches are going to absorb all the alcohol and the liquid, and so you're going to have some that float. They're going to be above the alcohol line at first. That's totally fine. Just put the lid on it, let it sit. If you want to shake it up, you can shake it up. But over time, the peaches are going to turn really dark. In fact, all the fruit turns really dark, and it's supposed to.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid of it.
It doesn't look pretty.
Yeah, it won't look pretty. But it's as the extraction's happening, it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
And again, you can see how the peaches, they're already starting to absorb that alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So
you want to show them that?
Yep, so when you strain it, you want to really push all the alcohol out of those peaches. So here's what it looks like already. So you can see how some of the peaches, I'll see if I can tip it without spilling it. See how some of them are kind of sticking out a little bit. That's okay, they'll evaporate. We got the beans, down at the bottom now, and we stirred it around, but it's already starting to extract. You can kind of see what that looks like there.
And also, if
the smell already. I know it's that marriage of cinnamon with the vanilla and the peaches and the spice. It's like Christmas in a bottle. Like
into summer.
Oh my gosh! Apple pie, peach pie.
All those yummy breads,
wonderful.
quick make breads, coffee cake. All of those would be absolutely delicious. Also, though, if you want more of a vanilla flavor, if you feel like after, if you go a month and you want to add more fruit and then you re-add the vanilla that was in there and then you go another month, so that would be a total of 2 months with the new fruit for the second round. And then you're done, you pour the fruit out and you can't taste enough vanilla, always leave the vanilla in here and then just wait. For whatever amount of time you want to, keep trying it. The longer that vanilla sits in there, the more vanilla you're going to taste.
Yep.
So really, again, it's just up to you and what you think or what you're going for.
Yep. And you taste test all of these just the way we taste test vanilla. A couple drops in milk or in whipped cream. Take the taste. If you like it, if you want more peach, add more peach, go another round. You want more vanilla, give it a little more time with the vanilla that's in there. You want more cinnamon? Add more cinnamon. Give it another month.
Yeah.
You just keep tasting, and you're good to go. Top it off if you need to top it off. You're going to be just fine. And this will be ready. The first round will be ready in 4 to 8 weeks, depending on sort of your taste profile. And if you want to do a double fold, then 4 to 8 weeks after that. So this will be ready in the summer. We'll be probably using it later in the fall, but this would be a great, gift in the fall for wedding reception, different things that we go to. Boy, that's a fun one. Okay, wow, how about that? We have 3 minutes left. We did it in under an hour. How about that? So this has been tons of fun. Thank you for coming into our home. I don't even know what live this is. How many of these have we done now? I have no idea now. This is, I don't know, we're pushing like 20 of them or something. Somewhere around there. But we're so glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday afternoon. We appreciate you doing it on a Tuesday. We're just seeing lots of people kind of watch the replay and not the live, and Tuesday kind of worked for us, so we're glad that it worked for the many of you that were able to join us. Thank you so much for all your questions. We had so many good, deep questions in all of these. So thanks to all of you, to Lori, to Connie, to Mark, to everyone that, asked great questions. Nancy, I see you've helped answer tons of questions. Thank you, Nancy, for your help. A lot of people are answering questions. Laura's on. Thank you, Laura, over in Great Britain for being here. And you're answering lots of questions. Kathy, a big hello to Kathy. We're always just so glad to see Kathy. So Kathy, thanks for being here. Jeanette from up north. Bonnie, glad you could join us. All of you. Raquel, wow. I mean, there's just so many great people. We could go on and on and on and on and on. But we're just glad that we know you, and we're glad that you're friends, and we're glad that we get to share these moments together. So, we will do this again.
Definitely.
In the not too distant future, because we've got a lot more fun extracts now for summertime, as we go into summertime extract season. And so, we'll have lots of new recipes the next time, and we will definitely be doing this again. Definitely. So for now, thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Tuesday, and a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it.
Happy spring.
Happy spring. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.